Brands can be very important to the success of many different food bloggers. However, it can be really hard to start a conversation with them. Cami is here to help you figure out the best way to talk to these brands and break down those barriers. Hey there, I'm Jason Logston, and this is Makin Bacon. We're all about helping you serve your fans, grow your income, and get the most out of your blog. In a recent podcast episode, I interviewed Cami Kilgore from Everything Food Conference. She's been organizing one of the largest food blogger conferences out there for about 5 years now. And she had a lot of tips for how you can best approach brands and sponsors that are at the conference so you can maximize your odds of success with them. And I wanted to share with you part of that interview today. So if an attendee goes to the conference and there's a sponsor or two there that they'd really like to work with, what is the best way for them to introduce themselves and start a conversation with them? I know you don't want to just walk up and say, like, I want to do a sponsored post. Here's my card. Like, what's a good way to open up that conversation?
Thank you for asking that, because this is really important. It's the same as you would with any relationship and any friendship, that you want to think with their goals in mind. So whenever I am pitching a brand, my very first question is, what would be your end goal when you participate in an event like mine? And then they tell me all their pain points. Well, we just haven't been able to make the right connections with influencers. Influencer marketing has been working for us. We want to have better networking. We want to have better brand awareness. So they tell me what they need. And then I'm like, great. So within my conference, here's the best sponsorship package that will help you meet their needs. So when you are approaching a brand, it very much needs to be about them. So asking them, like, how do you work with influencers, or what are upcoming things that you guys are focused on as a company? Are there any upcoming products that you are really wanting to market? Is there any mission or any brand awareness goals that you guys are trying to work on? And once they tell you, because if you're focused on them and their needs, as they are talking and having ideas, start thinking about your platforms and start thinking about what has been really successful for you, and then start that conversation. And you just say, you really wanted to market a product. Well, here's an example where I helped so-and-so be able to market their product. And, I'm really rocking it on Instagram stories. And so I really have found that it's most successful on my platform with this. And here's data to do why. So even if you don't have any data, even if you are a beginner, start thinking about how your platforms right now and the places that you thrive, that you feel really confident. Maybe it's your food photography and you initially offer, hey, my food photography is drastically improved, and with this upcoming product that you have, I would love to shoot images for you that you can use across your social media platforms, or something to start getting in the door. Because the truth also is, brands are getting bombarded with bloggers and influencers, and whether it's for free product, for discount, for brand partnerships. And where I think a lot of these approaches are going wrong is that they're reaching out to the brand and they're only talking about them and what they can do. Absolutely, you need to sell yourself and what you can do. But when your first approach, what that appears is that you're only in it for yourself. Whether that's the case or not, that's when you are saying, here's me, here's this, and I charge this amount for posts, like, work with me. Versus you reaching out and saying, hey, I really love your product. I use, like Bob's Red Mill, for example. I sincerely use their whole wheat pastry flour all the time. It's my favorite. So and I have good relationships with Bob's Red Mill. They've been a long time sponsor. So when I reach out to Bob's Red Mill, say, I personally love your product. I recommend it to all my friends. My one recipe with my blueberry muffins, where I really talk about your pastry flour, and it's going through the roof. It's like one of my most popular posts, because a lot of it has to do with your flour. I would love to see if there's a partnership there, because my followers are really responding to this whole wheat pastry flour and this recipe that's all tied into this. Again, it's about what they want and then tying in your unique offer, fitting into what they want and what they need.
I think that's so important, that approaching it from a what can I do for you standpoint
Yes.
makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And it's regardless of your size, that's a very, very valuable approach. But
Yes.
especially when you're just getting started, a lot of people say, well, I only have 5,000 monthly visitors or 1,000 or whatever that number is. That just seems too small. And they think, well, if I go to a brand and say, pay me money for a sponsored post, they're not going to do it. But if you go to them and say, what are you looking for? And then they just told you literally what you need to pitch back to them. And you can figure out from what you offer, what your skill set is, what can you offer them that's going to meet one of their goals in a unique way that someone else can't. And they're going to be much more likely to work with you than if you just come out and say, hey, I have 100,000 monthly visitors. That's not nearly as valuable as hearing what they had to say and giving them a custom, like, what if we did this to accomplish that goal that you just said? And they might not even, like your example with doing the photography that they can use in social, they might not even care if you have any followers if you have good photography, because they're using it on their social anyway, and they're not relying on you to get it to a big audience.
Yes.
Once you've sold brands on wanting to work with you, you still have to figure out how much to charge them, and that can be really hard. Luckily, this video with Lori Rice is going to give you a lot of great tips on how you can price your work so you get paid fairly.